We have seen a continuation of the attacks on U.S. forces in the Middle East since October 17th. That number now, according to the Pentagon, stands at 23 attacks against U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria over the course of the last 2 weeks or so. The problem here is that the U.S. carried out strikes on facilities in eastern Syria linked to Iranian-backed groups that it accused of carrying out the attacks on U.S. forces. The purpose of those narrowly targeted strikes was to send a message that the U.S. would protect itself and try to also send a message of deterrence against Iran and Iranian proxies to tell them, look, the U.S. will protect its own interests there and carry out strikes if needed. But since those strikes, we've seen about a half a dozen more attacks on U.S. forces. So that message not getting across. The question, will the U.S. act again? Will it carry out more airstrikes on the Iranian-backed groups it accuses of striking U.S. forces, or at least attempting to, with rockets or drones? The U.S. has left open that possibility, but it has to weigh that against the risk of escalation, a broader escalation in the region, which is very much something the U.S. is trying to avoid. From President Joe Biden on down in the White House, they have tried to draw a distinction between the conflict in Gaza, between Israel and Hamas, and other efforts, other actors in the Middle East, trying to point out that the U.S. presence in Iraq and Syria is about the ongoing defeat of ISIS. But those are not distinctions that have been recognized by many actors, including these Iranian-backed groups in the Middle East, and that has made it difficult for the U.S., even as it tries diplomatically, militarily even, to try to keep these conflicts separate. Oren Lieberman, CNN in the Pentagon.